Well, welcome to the channel, viewers. We're laying bricks today, and this is what healing's about too, because healing's one step at a time. Just like laying a wall, rebuilding a wall. This wall was damaged, okay, and it's had to be pulled down, and we're rebuilding it one brick at a time. Your steps towards healing are one step at a time, okay? One incremental step at a time to healing. You can heal. You can get off the alcohol, you can get off the drugs, you can get back to where you need to be. One step at a time. One course at a time. And the line goes up for the next course, okay? And sometimes people go into crisis. They'll have a life crisis and they'll be confronted with some things in life that they seriously need to change. And a lot of the time, that's drug abuse. Now, I'll tell you how bad it can get. My daughter's a police officer. She tells me all the time the stories about what drugs are doing to people out there. She went to a job at Barara. It's been on the news, Barara Heights. They got a call to go to a domestic where the father was bludgeoned to death by his son, who was on crystal meth. Killed his father, bludgeoned him to death. My daughter got the call to the job. That's what can happen to these parents that don't confront the issues with their children and drugs. They just keep supplying them. And it overcomes the mind of these. Well, this guy was, I think he was in his 30s or 40s, killed his 70-something-year-old father. That's the gratitude you get with drugs. And a lot of you parents are fueling these things and not realizing that it's going to come back to bite you later in life, because you've allowed it. And you've probably been a part of it too, to some extent. You could be a dope smoker, and your child could start off on dope, but progress to heavier drugs. You might not see it now. It might not be till they're in their mid-30s or 40s or whatever it is. They start off with dope. The next minute they're on meth. So my daughter, she went to this call out. They get in the house. This won't get you. The father's on the floor, bludgeoned to death, and the son's all nice and high in the back of the property. My daughter went out and confronted this bloke and arrested him. Now she could have got killed as well. But that was that son's gratitude to his father, right? That's what drugs does. It devalues the people that matter in your life. That's the grand scale of it, but there's smaller scales of it where people get taken for granted. People lose their relationships because of drugs, right? And drugs start off small and then they increase. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. Can you just put a bit of water in that before you? Thanks. Drugs start off mild. Yeah, mate. And if the person's got no confrontation, nobody confronting them about it in life, it can progress. Because they want more dopamine, more dopamine, more dopamine, more dopamine. And then later in life, when these people start to realize that this hasn't been an asset to my life. Whoever's told me or started me on it and made me believe that it was good for me, as they get older, they start to realize, no, it's not good for you at all. And it becomes a rod for your back. So you're no longer doing it for enjoyment, you're doing it because you can't live without it. And what's happening is a lot of these people, they're saying it's medicated, it's for medicine, it's for this and that. It's not. It's addiction. It's because they like doing it. And that's not good enough. That's not a good enough excuse, especially when somebody that's raised you, somebody that's loved and supported you, is bludgeoned to death by their children, by their child. And my daughter sees this, probably not at the level of murder, but the level of abuse, where these adult children haven't been disciplined by their parents and they end up being abused by their children. Recovery from all that stuff is one step away. You don't have to take people for granted to come into your place of healing. You can get off that shit now. It's just a choice, personal choice. And you'll find that we have a natural reward system in our body given to us by God, right? That enables us to get a sense of reward when we do good. So as you start to come off whatever it is that you're on, your mind and your body will give you a sense of reward, and you'll start to appreciate yourself more. You'll have a natural sense of personal appreciation and value. You value yourself more. God designed it that way. So as you start to realize you've been deceived into thinking that these things are good for you when they're not, you start to value the fact that you can come back to yourself. You can find your way back to yourself. There is a way of escape. Some people don't find that route, like the man that murdered his father the other day at Barara Heights. The media didn't tell anyone. The media didn't tell anyone he was on meth. Fuck, that's so bad. He was on crystal meth.
You said he was refused bail, that was it?
Yeah, nah. He was on crystal meth. So all those years that his dad put into that boy, right? And I wouldn't support an addict. If you're on crystal meth, you ain't staying in my house. You're going to get help or you're going to starve. That's it. But in the ignorance and probably the love that this guy had for his son, and would you call it love? If you're encouraging someone to take drugs or you're supplying drugs to your children, that's not love. That's not love. That's something else. That's not love, I can assure you. That's an accessory to the fact of the work of Satan. That's an accessory to the fact. You may as well be a dealer. Right? So, why wait till there's a crisis before finding your way out of the cave where all the footsteps lead in and none lead out? Drugs are a cave where all the footsteps lead in and none lead out. That's it. And you can find your way out of that one step at a time. But if you're a parent and you're an accessory to the fact, no, that's not right. And if your child turns on you and kills you, you got nobody else to blame but yourself. Because there's too much enabling now in our society, where we just enable anybody to do whatever they want, as long as they're not unhappy or not sad. We just enable people to do whatever they want without any discipline. Discipline's a gift, and it takes wisdom not only to apply it, but to receive it. The Bible says, spare discipline and spoil the child. Spare discipline and you spoil the child. It's a necessity. It's an inherent necessity to bring human nature, the stallion, the thoroughbred of human nature, it bridles our human nature into the direction that it needs to go. Without discipline, the horse is going to run into the barbed wire fence. The horse ain't going to jump the hurdle. That's how human nature works. It needs discipline. And that's where the fathers come in. Now that father that was murdered, I guarantee that he had gotten to the point where he'd given in. And his son, how sad, bludgeoned him to death. Now, a lot of people aren't hearing about the abuse that mothers are copping from their, single mothers are copping from their adult sons as well. They're not putting it on the media, but single mothers are being bashed, raped, emotionally abused by their adult sons, and they're not reporting it. They're just putting up with it. They're subject to these abusive sons. And most of them are on drugs. And a lot of them are supplied by the parent just to keep the peace, but they're not keeping the peace. They're building a time bomb that's going to go off unexpectedly at the appointed time. People need discipline. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. You heal one step at a time. Bye for now. Well, welcome viewers. When you're working hard like this, you don't want to have interferences in your life that are going to bring misery to you. What a lot of women don't realise is how hard men actually fucking work. I'm sorry for the slang, but you know, if you're contending, and this is for men and women, if you're going to work and there's an underlying spirit of hostility coming at you that hasn't been resolved, be it by your partner or one of their family fucking members, then you need to consider what you're going home for and what you're going to work for. Because if you're working for a pack of fucking hostile people, or you're involved with hostile people that are trying to size you up as being evil or something else, which I'm starting to see more of, you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth the relationship? Because this is hard, really hard, really, really hard. And you want to make sure that the environment that you put yourself in is healthy. Because if it's not fucking healthy, then it's no good. You're wasting your time. And that's all there is to it. Like these wheelbarrows, they got flat tires. Well, that's a waste of time. It's an absolute fucking waste of time. And that's what people will do. They'll come and suck your energy and get what they can out of you, and then piss off and get on with what they're trying to do in life, and it's all a waste of time. Just a waste of time. Nobody's building anything, nobody's ending up with anything. It's just a convenience for somebody's means, but there's no end. Now I asked these people to check the tyres on these barrows and they haven't done it. Now we're pushing fucking barrows with flat tyres. Jordan, this barrow's tyre's flat as well.
Is it?
So you again, you're just wasting your time.
Is that a baby?
Hey?
Is that a baby?
No, I'm not worried about that. It's got nothing to do with this. Baby ain't gonna
Well,
sort
let's
all
stop,
this.
get these out, I'll go pump them up.
Flat tire. You need to put these where the wall's gonna go, which is over here. Yep. But we want to lay these hard ones first. So put them to the back and they'll go on the top of the pile. You'll go hollow ones first and they'll come up after you've laid these ones, which will go on top. I've got a bike that we can, you know what I mean? You can't wheel barrows with flat tyres, it's just fucking stupid. So we're going to have cuts here as well. Fuck. So when you're working hard, you want to go home to a fucking happy family, that's for sure. You don't want to be going home to a mess, and you don't want to be going home to be someone's convenience. And this is where the values in the family system are breaking down, because people are taking too much for granted.
When you're done with this,
Is this yours?
Yeah, I don't mind. Just make sure you clean it off before.
Yeah,
you,
sure. We
before
this is our last load. He just went to pump the tyres up on the.
That's alright.
Yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha. No worries, buddy. go home. To a family doctor. It's healthy. And what I've noticed is these people that live in the world of convenience, they just want you to be at convenience. Give them supply, narcissistic supply. They just don't have anything at the end of it all. You can't, because you're just using things as a convenience rather than, yeah, so when you're working hard, you need order. Drugs and shit don't bring that order. You're not going to get that order with drugs and alcohol and all that crap. And these people will waste their lives without conscience. They'll just let their lives go down the tubes, and there's nothing much you can do about it. You just got to spectate. Don't be involved. Might be the first place to start, because they're very angry, hostile, unhappy people. Know before you start that nothing's going to come out of it. Nothing healthy. People can kid themselves all they like. Drugs and alcohol don't get you anywhere. It's as simple as that. It equals nothing. Nothing good comes of it. And that's it. Only the reformed will admit it. The determined to stay in that lifestyle won't. Think down on what I'm doing. No, the determined to stay in that lifestyle won't. They'll just carry on with it. So it's working now, is it? Well, it just come down, did it?
Hello?
Yeah, it's working now.
Alright.
Right.
Are you on the next lot?
Yeah, good question, because we don't want to trap ourselves. This is how I want to do it. I want us to come along here and return 1 or 2 bricks. And that's it, which you can get them from here. Right? And then when we do the other side, or once we've got ourselves, like even if we tape this all the way up, I don't care, because you've only got one part of the scaffold that you'll be able to do this with. and I might ring Pat.
You want to start building a pile over there?
Yeah. Bring more out here, put them against this wall. Just get these halves out with me for a minute. I'll put some over here. When's Caitlin coming home? Do you know? No? Do you reckon she'll be in there long? Right. That'll do for there. These other ones will go over there. Have we got any more hard hats besides these?
There's one in there, it's full of water.
Yeah.
Take that too far across.
Alright, we need to have access to these solid ones because they're going to be laid first. Whatever this is.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Get a big pile going here.
He's told us we can't use that. Can't.
Just get a big pile here.
Yep.
And a big pile here.
Yeah, right. You want? Yeah, I've got to clean it. Yeah, so you know, when you're working like this all your life, I'm 57 now, and you haven't got the right person for your relationship, they're just coming to get supply. They're really not doing anything much more than that. It's not going to work. It's really not. They're just going to come over and go again. And I guess if that's after 2 years or whatever it is, or 5 years, these people will just waste your time. Some of you have been with them for 10, 20 years, and I'd be embarrassed. I'd really be embarrassed if I got caught with one of these delinquents for that long. Yeah, they just want supply, they don't want a relationship. They just want supply. Oh no. Oh no. what you got to deal with. Holes. Shit. You know, you don't want to go home to disorder. You're just being narcissistic supplied to someone. It's not worth it. You don't get anywhere. It doesn't equal anything. But that's what people are doing to people. You're just trying to make them a convenience. And it's not good, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for anyone. Most of all, the people that are encouraging the behaviour. And if you put up with it, it can go on for fucking years. Decades. Who put that fucking thing there? You just don't want to. Yeah. You just don't want to. You muck around by people. That's all there is to it. But you will. You put up with more than we should. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. If you let it. If you don't let it, then be prepared to be on your own. Because society's made it that way now. Damn. See why you got to load it up, the price. Were they flat, those tyres? They had to have been. But it only takes a little bit of air to pump them up, that's what sucks. So this is fucked now, is it?